premier Season 21 LAN Finals for the European Division. HellRaisers up 1-0. Double overtime victory over PENTA on PENTA's map choice Inferno.
Yeah.
Now we go to Overpass, a map that HellRaisers has found a lot of success on.
Yeah, we talked about it. That first map was really confusing. The selection from PENTA didn't make sense to us just looking on paper. However, they came out swinging. Rough start. They brought it back, made it a 9-6.5. They were really in the driver's seat. I think at one point it was, what, 13-6?
Yeah.
They were up 13-6, and they couldn't close it out.
13-6, 13-7, something like that, yeah.
And actually, it was HellRaisers who could have closed things out. They could have won that.
They
it
got
was
to
14
first.
It was 14-14.
Yeah.
And no, it was PENTA that got to 15 first.
Yeah, you're right. It was.
And then it came down to that 1v1 on the B bomb site. 0 and
Mike S.
Oscar
Mike
at the
S.
top of, was it Oscar or was it 0? At the top of Banana and over towards Grill. I think it was 0.
I don't remember.
Mudbrain. Either way, it came down to that one round, that 1v1. Really pushed it to overtime, and then HellRaisers took over in the second OT.
They needed to do something. It was a battle of the 2-1s throughout that entire duration of that overtime, and finally it was a 3-0 to close it out on the CT side. So they get it done. We move on to our second map of this best of 3. We're actually still waiting for PENTA to sit down at their seats. So while we've got a minute here, I just want to give a shout out to everybody who made this possible, the crew working behind the scenes in the room of technology.
The room of technology filled with air conditioning.
I know. Oh, it's so hot up here.
I love them and I hate them at the same time.
Every chance we get, it's like, can we go on break? Yeah, go in there and just bask in the air conditioning.
To give you guys an idea of layout, so we have the stage down there.
Yeah.
And then we're out on like a mezzanine. We're on a balcony. But all of the heat just pools up here.
Plus, we've got all the servers and everything right next to us.
all the networking equipment, like the ATEM
Whew.
video switchers, all that nonsense. And then the production booth has a big door that closes, and they have this AC just blasting cold air right on their faces. We are not as lucky.
Swines.
So every time a map ends, we're running in there, like standing out, like in cartwheel position.
Feels good, man.
It doesn't feel good when we're out here, though.
Feels bad, man.
But yeah, seriously, huge thank you to all of them, and a huge thank you to ESL and ESEA for bringing us out here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks to you for coming along as well.
First time we've been in Europe.
Yeah. Thanks to the passport agency for getting my passport to me quickly enough. And while we've got a second, too, I want to give a shout-out to my dad, who actually watches all of the broadcasts that I do. So Mega Dad spam in chat if you guys are paying attention. And just want to say thank you, man, so much for the support and the love that you show me. So a little bit of a shout-out there.
It's Mother's Day, though.
It is Mother's Day.
Mother's Day weekend. It's not actually Mother's Day.
I will be back home in time to see my mom for Mother's Day, so that'll be good.
But she doesn't watch your stream, so you don't care.
No, she doesn't. That's fine. I'm just kidding.
Way to go, Mom. Dropping the ball, Mom.
And also, actually, a big shout-out, like you said, to ESEA, because they actually sent your wife
flowers.
A flower basket.
Yes, they did.
Because they took you away from her for the Mother's Day weekend. So they sent out a nice little flower basket. He showed me a picture of it earlier. So huge props to ESEA.
Yes.
Good guy.
If you guys are listening, the people responsible, you made my wife cry. So congratulations. Thank you for that. I appreciate it very much so. Because we were brought out here at like the last minute.
We were. We actually found out about this about their need for us about 12 days ago. So neither of us had passports at the time. We had to get them expedited, got it all taken care of. It was good to go. And here we are. So big shout out. I almost didn't make it through the passport customs.
I can understand why. Look at this guy. Would you let him into your country?
Rude.
I hope that,
It's fine.
Future countries are taking note right now. Like, Corey Gilbert.
Come on, man. At least they fixed the overlay for the casters, because originally they had my Twitter correct on there, but they had my alias as Corey Megan.
Can we get that
Gilbert.
Put back? Can we get that? Let's get that M taken out.
MEAGAN.
Yeah, Corey Megan Gilbert. I think that's a better name. You should change it.
I'm good.
I've been thinking about changing my in-game name to Christine, so it would really work out well.
No.
Christine and Megan.
I'm good.
We've got Christine and Megan on the cast.
But then my Mega Man tattoo that's on my arm, in case most of you guys didn't know, I actually have a pretty rad pixelated Mega Man tattoo on my arm as well. So I went
self-defined rad.
Full nerd.
Self-defined.
Oh, yeah. Full nerd.
Usually,
man, it's cool.
Yeah. Usually
we're
you wait for
vamping a
other
little bit
people.
because we're just killing time while PENTA gets situated and ready to rock and roll.
I mean,
so.
you can understand why they want to take their time. That last map was brutal.
It was soul crushing. I mean, you were on the cusp. I don't think they had one match point, and that was in regulation. I don't think they ever had a match point when it was in overtime. I'm pretty sure it was HellRaisers that was constantly on match point. Yeah. So nice stuff there. HellRaisers 1-0 in the series. A reminder for you guys, Overpass is the next map. Cobblestone if we need it. But if previous records show HellRaisers are good on Overpass, it's statistically their best map.
Yes.
Inferno was also one of their better maps as well. But Overpass is much, much better for them overall in the grand scheme of things. This is a map that we don't really foresee them losing. We don't see them dropping this one unless Penta pulls something out massive on this one.
Yeah, I mean, we had really looked at this best of 3 and we saw the first map. We were a little bit confused, but we really did see it as map 1 needed to go Penta's way in order to force a third map. We didn't think that they were going to take Overpass away from HellRaisers. The one thing I can say is that German CS teams in general are very disciplined. They often have really strong executes. The timing is usually right on point, as is communication. So you look at a map like Overpass, a lot of the sites on takes, or the executions for sites require some coordination from your T side. So you could argue that Penta could actually potentially take this one away. Oops. Angel gets knifed in the back, but I don't think it matters. Tossin was debating pulling out the pistol and getting the kill.
It would have been funny, but automatically disqualified in the knife round. But
yep.
Not a big deal. HellRaisers going to go ahead and take the knife round. I expect them to start off on the CT side, but weirder things have happened. They started CT side on Cobblestone earlier today, and that kind of backfired, and they're actually going to opt to stay. No, they do switch over. So HellRaisers on the CT side. Again, that's going to be Quest, Zero, Styko, however you guys say it in your native tongue. Oscar and Angel facing off against Mike Esks, Crystal, Lowell, Tabson, and Tossin. And we're going to get live here into the pistol round for map number 2. This could be the one that sends HellRaisers to Pro League.
Yeah, it all comes down to this. You know, getting the start on the CT side of a map that you are already very familiar with is going to feel very comfortable for HellRaisers. But what happened in map 1 on Cash? They got off to that strong start on their CT side, and they kind of just relaxed. Yeah. And they let the lead slip away.
I don't think that they're going to do that this time around. I think they're going to keep the foot on the gas. They're not going to relinquish anything going forward. I think that this is HellRaisers' map to pick. It's their map to lose. Penta's going to have to fight for it. They're going to have to bring the heat going into this one. Yeah. Tabson's going to have to be on point. We saw him have a strong CT side on Inferno, not so strong on the terrorist side. That's where they really started to struggle when the OTs started to tick by. And then you had Styko that was stepping up huge. Oscar that was stepping up huge. Couple of real nice clutches coming out from Zero, from Quest. Nice plays across the board for HellRaisers. Adversely, on the other side, we didn't really see that clutch play because most of the rounds that were actually won by the Penta side ended up being like 2 alive, 3 alive. It didn't really come down to 1v1s, 1v2s. Aside from that, Oscar versus Mike S. Combined 6 HP. Op versus Op. USP comes out and kills him. Bomb plant. Yeah. Ridiculousness in overtime. So we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Map number 2, Overpass. And HellRaisers on the CT side looking to start off very, very strongly, and that's a great way to do it. Tabson down and out. Styko will be able to find that opening pick and swing that man advantage to the way of the CT side of HellRaisers.
Mike dropping in from ladder. He's got the Glock in hand. There's 2 players pushed up aggressively here. Oscar's going to spot him out, and he gets himself a Tech 9. That is huge.
Raid boss.
So now he's got the raid boss by, and that's actually something HellRaisers does consistently in their pistol rounds, is drops in the Tech 9 with the armor. Lowell's going to come up from Monster Canal, gets 1, but Angel making quick work of the 2 players trying to creep their way up onto the site. So now Crystal's all by himself here. He's got a full load of utility here. 2 flashbangs, a decoy, and a smoke grenade. But the lack of body armor is going to basically result in Aim Punch taking over. And right on the opposite side of the door, he's got Oscar, who we could see a bit of a Benny Hill situation where they just open and close the door like we saw on Cash.
It's very possible,
today.
They did that on Cash. Oh, well, he actually gets the door to open the opposite way because he was standing so close, and he closes it and opens it and then runs through, and there you go. Finishes him off. 4-man alive here for HellRaisers in the start that they were looking for. Beautiful shots from Angel, and a nice job from Oscar. Shutting it down. You might just see Oscar not even invest into okay, he does buy a UMP into this. I kind of expected maybe if he's going to be favoring an AWP on this map that you might see him just stick with the Tech 9 working forward into this round because it can be brutal against the buy that they have going on because 3 of the players don't have head armor. Lowell does. Tossin has nothing but some nades. And it's going to be an execute looking like it's going to go in towards that B bomb site. They are pushing towards the short B canals.
Oh, Questlin with the sewing machine.
Well, they were.
Quick kill for him. The TMP's replacement. Popping more shots towards the end of Short Canal, does so much damage. Tabson down to 1, Crystal on 19, but not able to finish off either of those kills. They have to surrender control of Connector as well as the player flushing out from that area to support in towards the water. But look at Stiko pushing up on Fountain. He'll be able to make his way down towards the lawnmower. He's got this MP9. First kill goes his way. There's one right around the corner and another one to follow up that's completely lit. He spots him first. Yeah, there you go. Mike S getting popped down to 42 HP, but he does manage to get the kill, so he's going to be able to use that MP9 now. Still 3 players left standing for HellRaisers on the opposite side. Yeah,
going to be a little bit rough, especially with the lack of health that they have on the 2 players that are alive. Mike S at 42, Crystal at 19. Not a lot of damage being dealt here onto the CT side of HellRaisers, aside from the 2 deceased that are on the board. And with Zero playing the angle that he is right now, they do have a couple of flashes, so they might be able to flash over the top of Monster, catch him out. And Crystal might be able to drop him down, but it doesn't look like they're going to do any of that. They actually jump peek it. They didn't even throw their utility. That was such a waste of money into that round. I don't think they even threw any utility throughout the duration of that round.
Yeah, I didn't actually pay attention to the utility, but it didn't look like it.
Because Tossin had a lot of arsenal. He ended up getting taken out early in the round by the MP9 down towards short B. The double kill came in the back lines, which was Crystal and Lowell, and then it was Tabson and Mike S at the end, or pardon me, it was Crystal and Mike S at the end of that round. And Mike S had like 2 flashes, a smoke. I think Crystal had a smoke and a flash. So a little bit rough. Oh, that nade flounders. That would have been such a high damage nade, but it's okay. The UMP's going to tear on through him. There you go, Oscar. 3K. Very quick in the beginning of that round.
Stiko now pushing up towards the Fountain, taking the duel with the players up on Party. Finding 2 quick frags himself, a 3-0 start here. This is the big round now for Penta, and they're going to have a bit of a weaker side coming in for the side of HellRaisers. They're opting to hold on to the UMPs. This is not the first time we've seen this. This has been all tournament long. These teams holding on to that SMG because of the armor penetration. It's a little bit more viable than, say, like an MP9 or MP7 or even the P90. The P90's one advantage is the tremendous clip and fire rate. That very early Molotov prevents the CT side from being able to get control of water. But at the same point, the Molotov from the CTs prevents the T side from doing the same thing. The nade to follow up right under their feet does a lot of damage to Mike S, down to 47 HP. So using utility wisely early on, both teams actually.
Yeah, it's the Jaden buy again. They stick with those 3 UMPs. They're going to boost up on top here in the backside of sight. Oh, and if Tossin pushes forward now, he could be a sitting duck right around the corner. They got Lowell down in the water pit as well. Oh, Tossin creeping forward. Is he going to give himself up? He jump peeks, and there it is. Zero's going to jump right on that one. Takes down Tossin. The damaged Mike S as well, very low on HP. Long peek, though. Crystal rips Angel, takes his head right clean off. And that's going to swing it right back into a 4-on-4. But in the middle of the site, there it is. The flash goes out. Zero's going to duck down for a second. Mike S goes down. Lowell does answer back, so the trades are true. 3-on-3 situation right now as both Oscar and Angel, Mike S, and Tossin are off the board. Still waiting for this execute to come in towards this B-bomb site. Smokes are true as well, and we're just waiting for that push. Bomb is on the back of Tabson, but he gets chipped down and naded. Now the bomb is down 35 seconds. They've got to do something, and they've got to work it fast. And there's the trades again. 1 versus 2. Lowell with only 10 HP. No utility. 28 HP, or 28 seconds in a dream.
So far, it's been HellRaisers who've been controlling the pace, but a great shot from Lowell puts him in the driver's seat. There's no nades left on Queston, so he's going to actually have to force the fight. Lowell does have a flashbang, but he's so low on HP. Any peek, if Queston just spots the barrel, it should be an easy frag. But he's walking right into it, and there you go. It doesn't matter. All he needed to do was land 1 bullet, and he does. He picks up the round. It's 4 now for HellRaisers. Penta, at least they can look at the fact that they cost the CT side a lot of money, but look at the cash built up on HellRaisers already. 9K, 8K, 7K. More than enough money. Oscar's almost on 11K.
Yeah, and that's where that SMG save into that first gun round is so important. They didn't upgrade, so they didn't spend $3,100 on upgrading to rifles. They were able to just hold on to their little SMGs and make it work into that round. Now, granted, the rifles did a brunt of the work, but the final kill comes by way of the UMP. That's going to reset the economy. Now they're going to go for a force up here. Pistol armor buy. A couple of nades to work with. HE goes out and around the corner. Return HE as well, but it's not going to find any of the damage that they were looking for. And now Oscar has an AWP to work with as well. So push comes out. That's a beautiful flash. They're going to spot him out here. Oh, and he actually misses the shot. He splits the difference. They're going to push on this. Oh, and they do find the first one. Can they get the second one? Oscar going to work with that 5-7. Angel's going to be there to bail him out as well. He does lose his life in the long run, but you've got Quest down on the lower side of that water pit. He's should be able to take down Tossin. No, Tossin's going to hit the long-range deagle headshot. So, again, making it very expensive here for the CTs of HellRaisers as it is down to a 2 versus 1.
Yeah, again, it costs them a lot of money, but we had mentioned they had kind of a stable base of economy built up, so the piggy banks were starting to overflow. But even still, you talk about the long game when it comes to money. It's like we said, it's like chess. You're always thinking a few moves ahead. You're not necessarily thinking about your move right now. You're thinking about the impact it has as the game progresses. So Tossin with 22 HP, he's got a deagle in hand. What can he do
Red
here
Bulls
in this situation?
have arrived, Mark.
All right. Are they for drinking, or are they just for advertisement?
They're not for commercials. They're for
Okay,
drinking. Here
cool.
you go, sir.
Thank you.
Double thumbs fresh. 5-0 for HellRaisers, though. Nice. It's good stuff. Give us wings so we can fly through the remainder of this cast, because it's hotter than hell up here on this caster's desk,
right.
but we will persevere. This could be potentially the final match of this tournament, as HellRaisers often rolling 5-0. Penta yet to really find anything, find their feet, get their feet underneath of them, get the wind in their sails, and it's going to be Mike S with the AWP. That's their reply.
And that's been the reply for them.
Oh, but the aggression down long A, and Oscar, he's just going to eliminate Lowell.
I mean, the answer for Penta has often been Tabson and Mike S is off. Like, I mean, he's not going to be a statistical leader. Mike S is not going to necessarily come out and drop 30, but he's going to get those impact frags, the big ones that slows down the take, taking down a player early, dropping Oscar. That's big enough in and of itself. As long as Mike S can take out the op on the opposite side, he's done his job.
And he won that battle a couple of times, especially when it was in overtime on Inferno earlier. He actually got the pick onto Oscar going up towards the top side of mid, but it's just going to be Oscar right now. 2 kills on the round. He finds his pick onto Tabs, and he's going to continue to be mobile. And this is what makes Oscar so dangerous as an AWPer, is that, yeah, he's good at just holding an angle and hitting the shots, but he stays so mobile. And that's the biggest part about it, is you don't know where he's going to be. He pushed down long A, got the pick into playground. This time he goes around towards bathroom, gets a pick towards party. Still being a nuisance over here outside of bathroom. He's going to smoke it off for his teammate to kind of peek around and work around that smoke to fall back a little bit. Potentially a flash push could come through. But as of right now, it's not. And Crystal actually goes into 0, so finds a pick on the other side of the map and still yet to find that kill. And there you go. Drops the bomb carrier. Perfect time. Stiko pounces. And now with only 9 HP, Crystal does fall in the long run. 6-0 HellRaisers.
And, you know, thus far, HellRaisers has been very tight. I mean, all of their counterplay, their flashes, this is what you see when you see a map on or a team on a map they're very confident on. It's basically just HellRaisers starting to walk away with it. Penta's going to come into another round here where they're going to force up with Tech-9s. They're at 6 rounds in a row. They've only gotten 1 bomb plant throughout the entirety of these first 6 rounds.
Scary.
And that was defused, obviously. So they only get that extra money 1 time. But even still, you know, Penta is just struggling to get control. And grenade play from HellRaisers has been on point. Positioning is on point. Timing is on point. Everything is going the way of HellRaisers.
There you go. Stiko is going to be able to find the opening pick. The smoke blooms as well, so that's going to prevent any of the terrorists from really pushing through for the time being. Spamming through, and through the smoke, Angel's going to find one. Mike S does manage to take down Stiko.
Unsilenced him 4.
Nice. All right. Oscar with 1 onto Tabson. 0 is going to be able to find Crystal. It's down to just Mike S, an AK in hand, and he goes down to Oscar. 7-0. HellRaisers are just rolling. Who's got the unsilenced M4? We got to figure that out. Is it Quest?
I mean, the fact that we could both hear that, like we both knew what that sound was.
Immediately.
It stands out.
Immediately.
Like
that's salt in the wounds, too, because it's like, oh, I don't even need to worry about it. You can see my tracers. You can't even get around on us right now. I like it. That's like land smack talk without actually saying anything.
Without saying anything, yeah.
It's beautiful. Let me just take this silencer off for 4 seconds, play a little air guitar. If you've ever seen the animation for when you put a silencer on and off of an M4, it looks like you're playing air guitar. Pretty good stuff, though. HellRaisers 7-0. Penta yet to get on the board. And a lot of times, I mean, most people consider this to be a very even map. Depending on the way that it's played, we've seen big terrorist side halves come out from execute heavy teams like Na'Vi, Luminosity. And then we've seen good CT side halves as well. Fully blind at 0 there. He's going to find that opening pick. And Angel, 2 more on a short. Oh my God, he gets the spin around on a Mike S. Finally goes down to Tabson, but immediately rectified his quest. Going to finish that off 8-0. And finally a pause comes out from Penta. They got to figure out what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, a huge smile on Angel's face after that one. He's just laughing. They're having a good time on their side. They're feeling great about the fact that it's now 8-0. Penta hasn't found any kind of opening across any of the sites. Let's see, we got, 14 kills for Penta across 8 rounds of play.
That's rough.
That's brutal. It's under 2
One
FPR
kill
for your whole team.
Yeah.
You know, Tabson's at 3. He's been a serious force for Penta. Tossin on 1.
Yeah.
This just is.
I mean, Lowell was actually the bottom fragger for him on Inferno, and he's the one top fragging for him now. Granted, one kill being the difference isn't that much in the grand scheme of things, but I mean, just looking at it, Oscar has been a beast so far in this. 11-2, 9-2 on Angel that last round, the big 3K, the spin around, the 180, beautiful shot from him. 9-4 for Sticko. Been a monster. Pushing through the smoke, getting that double kill to close out the 1 round. The double kill on the anti-eco over by Party.
Yep.
And, I mean, Quest and Zero have just been shutting down that B bomb site. Now, granted, they're 5-3 and 6-3, but when it comes down to it, when it all boils down to it, when those executes come in towards the B bomb site, they have been solid. Same thing with Angel. All 3 of those players holding down that B bomb site have been very solid throughout.
Yeah. I mean, HellRaisers, it's not even necessarily that Penta is playing terrible. They just can't manage to catch a break. Timing, positioning, we talked about it, counterplay from HellRaisers is on point. And now they've put Penta in a spot where they're consistently force buying, which means no op, which was a huge part of their entire play on the other maps we've seen them play throughout the entirety of this tournament, was putting the op on Mike S. And we said, not necessarily top fragging with it, but silencing the op of the opposite side, which if you look at the scoreboard right now, he is not doing because Oscar is tearing apart the T side of Penta. He's now 11-2. He's got $13,000. He's just holding on to that op round after round after round after round. So we come into another one here. Penta going into a 5 AK setup. And look at this deep smoke grenade. I've seen this once or twice before, all the way from CT spawn back down towards the base of Monster Canal. So no fast play here for Penta unless they want to take the risk of pushing through it. And there's a very strong possibility that a molly could land right on the opposite side of that. So again, great grenade play, great map knowledge from HellRaisers.
Yeah. So again, that smoke being all-encompassing of that area, Zero is going to take that opportunity to push to the opposite side of Monster and hold that off angle again. It worked out well for him in the past. Flashbang goes out over the top. They might have spotted Quest's shoulder, but I think they probably figure he fell back in towards the site. Oh, but they double peek. He actually pushes out into that, but look at this. Stico coming out around the corner. Going to spot that player out. Not able to control his recoil, though. He wasn't expecting him to come jumping around, and Tabson's going to find it. So whatever they talked about here for the Penta side seems to be paying off. It's just these early picks that are going their way, but as of right now, they've got options into this round. This is the first time that they've had options as to what they want to do into a round.
What's actually interesting, too, is that Penta spread out and thinned themselves short. And that's
Angel
another
did the
double
same
peek.
thing. Yeah, same thing.
Basically a repeat of what had just happened. Oscar, no surprise there, using the op to take down Lowell. He's still playing back towards A. It looks like they're going to stack up on the A bomb site, but it's going to be a B play here. And this is the nature of a top-down map like Overpass. You get control of connector, you get that ability to rotate out and play towards whichever site you really feel like taking. They don't have any smokes left, though, so they can't force these players out of heaven, but they don't really have a lot of utility to work with either. And the bomb is down. It's 2-on-4. Grenade's going to land on towards default, but it's not really going to do any damage. No one's home. Oscar coming back in from the underside there, going towards construction, and Zero still up in heaven.
There's no reason not to go for this either for them. They've got so much money from the 8 rounds that they've won because they haven't really lost a whole lot of members throughout. So any gun that they can get out of the hands of Penta, even though they're... Because this is the part. Penta is going to win this round. If HellRaisers win the next one and reset them, after that money bonus, they might get one more buyout before the full reset happens. But then you're looking at a 10-2, a 10-1 scoreline for HellRaisers, maybe even an 11-1 scoreline moving forward. And this is cash CT all over again.
Yeah.
It was actually legitimately, they were up 8-0, and that's when they lost their first round.
Yeah. You know what, though? You can look at it like this for the side of HellRaisers. So they don't ultimately go for that. They hang back. The big piece of that, again, is that AWP. So, yeah, you could argue that Oscar could afford to lose it, but he can't afford to give it away. So it's one thing to lose the op and have to rebuy it. It's another thing to give the op away. Penta still has not recovered economically. They still can't afford to op. Mike S survives with an AK, so he's not going to necessarily try and force his way up into an AWP. Not only that, no one on the team has the money to do it anyway. So this really could be a best-case scenario here for HellRaisers, an economic reset, a round that could play right into their laps. And it starts out strong for them, taking down 2 players before a frag finally comes in for Penta over towards Monster Canal. It's going to be Mike S pushing his way in with the AK and taking down Zero. But another frag back in HellRaisers' favor. They're just shutting down Penta.
That was actually Tabson yelling, if you guys actually heard that one. So a lot of frustration coming out from the Penta's camp Crystal does manage to find one more kill. Angel is very low at 20 HP, but Oscar with this AWP over here towards this B bomb site is just waiting for the mistakes to happen. A lot of spam going out. 22 HP left for Crystal. It's Mike S and Crystal to try to clutch this one out, but Penta just on the back foot right now. They're reeling. Mike is stuck in this corner with Oscar holding this angle, and they've also got another player over. There it is. Bomb gets dropped. Crystal, your last man standing, 22 HP, and HellRaisers, here's the reset that we were talking about. They don't even get the bomb plan into this round.
Yeah, no bonus money.
Yeah.
And, the only thing that works towards them is maybe, like, if we take a look at the scoreboard, how much they survived with in the previous round, at least they can look at that. I think they had, 4 players up?
They're going to force into this.
Yeah. Can you really blame them? No. They're in a spot where they've lost so many rounds. However, you could say, okay, well, it is Overpass. It's pretty CT-sided by its nature.
Wow, they're not
we
forcing
save here. We come up, we buy, we try to close things out, make it 10-5. 10-5 is not bad. All of a sudden, you can look at the first half score and you can go, okay, yeah, you started off weak, but at least you close things out 10-5. It's manageable.
I don't know. I just think they had 4K on 3 of their players and 3K plus on 2 of them. I feel like they should have gone for a buy here. Just personal opinion, but of course, they're the professional players, not me.
We're just the casters.
Yeah, they know a hell of a lot more about the game than I do. As does Reddit and Twitch chat and HLTV and but it's cool, man.
Local newspaper.
Yeah, this one's pretty much getting shut down wholeheartedly. I think Tossin actually got spotted there. He's going for the shoulder peaks. Actually does good damage to Stigo here, but denied. Gets taken down from a nice headshot, and that's going to leave it all on Mike S. Tech 9 in hand, body armor to work with, but 5v1. 3 frags for Stigo this round. And I mean, just HellRaisers are rolling. Absolutely rolling. But with this save, they can put the ult back into Mike's hands. And we'll have to see if he's going to really be able to do anything with it, because he hasn't really been able to do anything so far in this matchup.
Yeah.
Neither it's the rest of Penta, to be honest.
They're not actually.
They don't have enough money.
He would have the glass cannon, and that would be potentially disastrous.
That's what he's doing.
Gonna do it. You know what? If he puts himself in the right spot, plays super passive, lets his team kind of lead the way with the rifles and just picks away from range, towards long, if he plays the duel on long, or if he plays the duel towards Monster Canal and tries to catch them as they peek, you can almost justify it. But anywhere where he's going to see a nade or a bullet going his direction, it could be the heavy investment just completely wasted. Ooh, Tossin actually, I thought it was Tapson. Getting that duel with Stigo somehow comes out on top. Nade's going to land right around the corner. Fun fact, you can actually spam through that fence on the right side, through the door behind it, and you would be able to get the kill on the player back there. Thanks for that one, Flom. But a double stack here as they jiggle peek with the double stack. This is actually very creative from the side of Penta. They're going to be able to see up over top of it, but the flash lands just in time, so that double stack does not work out the way the Germans wanted.
Tapson does get the trade anyway, so Penta with a man advantage to work with into this round as Lowell goes down. Tossin on 30 HP still, but he is still alive. And again, Mike does have the AWP to work with, and they've gotten Oscar off the board, which is kind of the scariest part about it right now, is because Oscar and Stigo have been playing so well for HellRaisers throughout this tournament today. And that's kind of the scariest thing, is now you don't really have to worry too much about the AWP unless Angel decides to rotate around and try to pick that up. They do have to worry about Zero, I believe it is, who is hiding outside of bathrooms towards the A bomb site, and then they've got a player that's playing behind the APC as well. It's going to be Quest. That's not actually behind the APC, but he's in the corner. He's the one, unsilenced M4. Go back to him, Rush. Let's see it. Unsilenced M4. There it is. There it is. Well done.
You know what? In this position, you can't see him.
Yeah, well, he takes the silencer off. You can't see the silencer poking out from behind the wall, so that's actually smart. But unfortunately, Angel is going to go down, but here you go.
It's just so comical.
Oh, he gets 2 out of it, too. It's down to Zero Senpai. See if he's going to be able to do anything right now. It's a double-up setup here for the terrorist side. Molotov goes out. Fizzles in the smoke.
Yeah, unfortunate for him. That M4 without the silencer sounds like a BB gun, or like the old-school machine gun that you expect, like da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Like Rambo.
Yeah, exactly. But Zero by himself in a 1v2, he's got a double op to face down, and the bomb is planted perfectly for both these players. They just need to time it right. But actually, he gets leg, takes the shot. Now he can flush out that other opper. Oh, no.
Oh, my goodness. 2v1 clutch with 16 HP.
Mistakes were made.
Penta can't be happy about that one. Cannot be happy about that one.
It just continues to go HellRaisers' way, even in a situation where that really should not be winnable.
No.
Like the first peak was the one to punish. The second one makes sense. So he taps the bomb, baits the player out. He knows
Who was the
what's
last
going
alive?
on.
Was it Mike S that was the last one alive in that? He killed Crystal first. Or
yeah, I think Crystal went down first.
And then Mike didn't have armor, remember?
No, yeah.
So he ends up going down because of aim punch. He can't even get a shot off because his crosshair is going all wonky all over the place. So that was the best case scenario as far as the order of the peaks go for Zero to clutch that one out.
Yeah.
And now it's just going to be a fast push in towards B. This should be a mow down. As Zero doing some heavy damage. Angel's going to get the first frag. Tossin does manage to trade it. They're going for the site. He's actually pushing all the way around. Going to have to switch over to the secondary, but it's going to be Angel over here on short to find one more. Gold does manage to trade that back, but the USP comes out. And there you go. Oscar finishes things off 12-1.
You know, we were joking around with HellRaisers between maps. They were looking at the food, and they're going, the food's not here yet? They're like, we're hungry. I was like, all right, well, close out the second map quick and you guys can eat because we'll be done.
Exactly, right.
And I think that that's the driving factor right now for them. They don't care about Pro League. They don't care about the money. They just want to eat.
Whatever,
we just want food. We're hungry. I want some of that barbecue.
I'm telling you, man, they look great on this map. And this was the thing. I thought for sure that Penta was going to veto this.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised.
Sure Penta was going to veto this. But they let it go through. Zero's going to be able to find the first kill. Stiko is well onto Mike S. It's down to Lowell, Tabson, and Tossin. Tabson is going to be able to find one, but that's like the silver lining, the calm before the storm that comes out. There's another kill coming in. Angel from the pit is going to be able to find one more on a Tabson before he gets traded out. Bomb yet to be planted, though. Still on the back of Lowell, who's just waiting for the rotation to come around from the back lines, but it's not coming from that area right now. Does drop the smoke out on the short, which is a smart play because there are two players that could potentially come from there. But it's Stiko up there in heaven, going to be able to find that frag on the toss in, and that was the high HP player. That's the second time he's hit that shot.
Yeah.
But he roasts 13-1 coming into the final round of the first half, and it is a 12-round lead right now for HellRaisers. They look unstoppable on Overpass right now.
I think this is the most I've seen HellRaisers smile this entire tournament.
And they're not screaming and yelling or anything like that. They're just...
They're happy.
They're laughing. They're having a good time. They're slapping high fives. And adversely, if you look over at the Penta side, they're pissed.
Yeah, they are not happy. Things are not going their they're going their way. Stiko is going to pick up the Scar 20 for the final round. Not really a surprise there. Kind of curious where he's putting that one. You see the one spamming over through the plywood in towards connector. I think he was.
Oh, Oscar, poor guy.
Whoops, that wasn't supposed to happen. Loses the op early on, but I like Questone's position right now. He's going to be coming completely from behind. If he's not careful, he could get spotted when he pushes through the smoke. He has to time this right. He's still got one player sort of lagging behind. Oh, he's actually just going to hang out in the smoke for a little while longer. He's still got one coming in on the backstab. Manages to get two before that backstab actually occurs. But look at the cost. I mean, yeah, you get that money, but you let one of your teammates die in exchange for a knife kill.
A little cocky to go for that, but I think at this point, Penta seems like they've kind of resigned from this match.
Yeah, they're very frustrated. Just not happy with their performance right now.
And can you blame them?
There's not exactly much to look at in this first half. That said, there's still a second half to be played out. The game is not over. Just because you get 14-1, it's not over.
It's absolutely not. I mean, look in the past of things when Nuke was originally in the rotation, you used to see, I mean, one of the most famous comebacks before was, I believe it was NIP, where it was like, I think it was NIP versus Very Games, where it was like a 14-1 half. I'm sure somebody will correct me by tweeting at me and telling me that I'm an idiot, but it was a 14-1 half on the CT side, and then they switched over, and then the other team that was on T side 15-0'd them. And ended up winning 16-14.
Yeah, stuff like that actually
is complete ridiculous like comeback in the most ridiculous way.
I've seen my fair share of 14-1 comebacks.
Yeah.
Mostly on North American soil, not necessarily with EU teams, but it does happen. But really, I mean, this is the pistol for the ages here. HellRaisers picks up this pistol, it's basically game over, and they take the series 2-0. They move on towards the Pro League, and Penta has to play another season in Premier.
Well, Penta will be playing against Virtus Pro in the relegation match, which we can probably assume Virtus Pro isn't going to lose. But with the form that they have been in recently,
yeah,
it's hard to say. They have been struggling lately. Long A control completely in HellRaisers' hands. Tossin does start things off. Good return grenade, and Tabson going to tap away and finds two of his own. And pistol round kind of required for this comeback to happen. Oh, backflip. Tabson with 3 on the round. And not a point of damage onto anybody from the CT side.
HellRaisers, though, they'll just shrug that one off. They'll wait for the first
they've still got
buy.
12 rounds to play with.
They have so much room to work with. Whereas the opposite side, they were already looking pretty bad. The one thing they can look forward to is Tabson has been an absolute monster on his CT side. He did not have a good first half, and at certain points you heard him yelling, slamming the desk. He was obviously not too pleased with the way things went. Here, though, he's got the M4 very early on, looking to pile some frags on fast, not going into the SMG buy like Crystal has, who picked up the UMP. Famaso, Mike S, and Lowell. Tossin, the other player, picking up a rifle as well. Kind of familiar with the fact that HellRaisers is going to be forcing up here. Leveraging the rifles against the pistol armor buy, it's a good call, and it works out well for them with that early exchange.
Yeah, but a lot of damage onto Tossin as well, and he's one of the big rifle holders. He's got the M4A4 in hand, so it's really going to all boil down to, can they get him down? He actually swaps the M4 with Lowell. In case you didn't notice, they switched the FAMAS and the M4 around, so he's going to have a little bit of a weaker rifle, and Lowell's going to be over here by Toxic Barrel, waiting for the push to come around, and he actually gets dinked immediately, and he goes down. So now they have an opportunity to get into this B bomb site. That's another frag going down. They do get the bomb plant. They've pushed up aggressively, find some decent damage on a Tabson as well. So this is now within the realm of doable for the terrorist side. It's a 3-on-2 post-plant situation. You've got Quest in a good spot right now to try and shut this down, and Stico, well, he's not going to be able to cover his comrade very well from that position, but now he's just going to work his way around towards Sandbags. Tabson takes him down, but that bomb plant was pretty big. Even though they did force into this round, there is potential for... is Crystal not going to pick up the M4? They left an M4A1 on the ground right next to where the bomb was.
I think they swapped... No, I don't know if they did. I'm trying to remember. No. They only had two. They had an M4A1 and an M4A4.
I thought they left one on the ground.
They had two FAMASs.
Because I saw it drop in front of him, and he just ran away.
It actually, whatever they dropped, I think it was the UMP, it landed in the crack and fell down where you can't get it.
Did it?
Yeah, because those should exist.
Yeah, that should,
like, that should happen.
Yeah, that should be it.
That's like the bomb physics on this map really can be frustrating sometimes.
Oh, that nade's going to hurt. So does the Molotov. Lots of damage going out early. Tabson, he's pissed. He wants revenge for the abysmal first half that Penta put on. He's going to get an opportunity here. He does manage to pick up 2. Before all is said and done, and that's going to be a 4th round now for Penta. But now we're into the meat and potatoes. Now we're into that first full gun round, and HellRaisers are only 2 away from being crowned the ESEA Premier European Land Champions.
Yeah, and taking that coveted Pro League spot as well.
And that $10,000 in Cheta. Yeah.
If they want to share, that'd be nice too.
A tip?
Cool.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
We need a tip jar on the casting desk.
Something like that. I think our tip was them giving us Red Bulls.
I think, can they like cut off like a little sliver of the big check? Like, this is your portion. We cut off the border. You can have this part.
Aggression is the name of the game, but it does not work. Stico, patience and prowess from the back lines over there by Playground, pardon me. He's going to be able to find that, and it's just a disaster. Tossin, your last man standing, 1v4. Big opening there from Stico. They do spot out 0.
Yeah, I mean, Tossin's the last man standing, but this is an all too familiar tale here. Like, Penta is consistently, in this map at least, consistently in situations where they were in 1vx's, they had to clutch it out. He does manage to find 2 frags without taking a lick of damage, but map control still goes the way of HellRaisers. They have all that flexibility. They could go wherever they please.
Bomb was coming over towards B. That's where he found himself, but now he's going back over towards the A-bomb site because he's wary of a possible flank play coming in. This would be an incredible 1v4 if he is able to pull this one off.
He also doesn't know where the bomb is at this point. He has no idea that that player is rotating over towards B.
Oh, there you go.
But that's it.
Series championship match and map point for HellRaisers right here, right now, is an overtime victory for them in the first map on Inferno. This time, it's a landslide in their favor. 15-4. They've got to save 11 match points on the Penta side. Double up setup is the recipe that they've come up with for this one. Let's see if what they cooked up works.
And not surprised there. That's that desperation buy. You're in a spot where you just feel like nothing's working. Go for the double up setup. Kind of got an interesting V forming there with the M4 surrounding that 5-7, the ops on the flank.
Palindrome.
Yeah, there you go. Crystal in a similar position to what he was in the previous round. Trying to spot players as they come up from Playground towards the party. Does a lot of damage to Stico, so that play actually working out a little bit better for Penta than it did the round prior. Lowell gets 1 in connector, gets dropped by the op. Oh, Oscar just off the mark with that shot above the plywood stack. Tabson's going to go for a similar peek, and he manages to spot out Angel. So a great start to the round here for Penta. Their potential opportunity to force this overtime beginning well, but it still ends up in a 3v3.
Yeah, Oscar finally down and out, but they've got Quest, who's actually pushed aggressively all the way through long A. They have no idea. Crystal's going to go down. The A bomb site is open for business. 2v2, AWP and M4 versus double AK setup here. And this is going to give, so much time for Quest to get into a a forward position here. Tabson's going to come around the corner. This is such a tough angle for him to peek.
Yeah, coming up the stairs.
Oh, he turns the wrong way at the wrong time. The timing is so off. Oh, that's so unfortunate. And with Stiko being so far away, not a lot he's going to be able to do. He can't help his teammate in that situation. That's so unfortunate.
Now you kind of wonder, like, Stiko's probably just going to save here. So he's got the AWP for that matter. He's got a molly. He's got head armor, 19 HP. He knows that Penta is basically broke. They're stealing away every bit of cash that Penta has been storing up. So they can afford to just hold on to this op, go into another round. They've got plenty of rounds to work with. This is very much so the right call here. As you can see, 500 on Lowell, Mike S 0, Tossin 0, 350 on Crystal, 600 on Tabson. This is brutal. Economically speaking, HellRaisers isn't in a really good spot either, but it doesn't really matter too much. They can just probably force up here and try to outgun Penta, probably play for something fast and overwhelm the lack of utility.
Yeah, and that's the biggest part about it. Just a quick push could just net them the win right here. Speed things up, go for a fast, rush down through Monster, try to push in towards that site as fast as you possibly can. But it looks like they might go for like a subway play or maybe a long A play. Because, I mean, that's 2 or 3 times now that they've left long A completely open, abated. Nobody playing in that area. Crystal gets backstabbed. Just not a good spot. Oh, this one-way smoke, though, is so good. Crystal opens things up, finds Quest. He goes down immediately afterwards, but Tossin's going to be able to trade that as soon as it happens as well. And Tossin on the big flank, but it doesn't matter. Tabson's going to be there with 2. The last man standing is going to be Stiko, looking for this frag. He does manage to find one onto Lowell. And we're still looking for some more. 1v4, it would be an incredible way to end the tournament. If he can clutch it out, he does have 100 HP, but it's going to be tough to start things off.
So yeah, Stiko just by himself here. I mean, again, in a similar situation to the last round where he's like, all right, well, do I go for this here? Do I need to? I can kind of just see if I can find a frag, float around the map, try to pick somebody off. But still got this AK in hand. He's got a molly as well to work with. He has forced 2 players over towards A, and he's got a heavily lit Mike S over towards B. The right molly could keep him out of position long enough for Stiko to get that bomb into the site. He's still got 40 seconds to work with, so plenty of time. And there you go. Here's the call. The molly's just not going to go where he needed it to. Tosses it towards the toxic barrels, expecting maybe a player to be in that position. It's going to be Mike S over towards Graffiti. His best bet right now is that Mike S misses the shot. Mike doesn't even fire. He allows Stiko to get the sight. He's playing super passive here. Finally, he's going to spot him, but unable to get the proper angle. So now Stiko's going to go for this bizarre plant towards the right sandbag. So at least a bomb plant here, taking a body shot there through the sandbag from the AWP. Finally, Tabson comes in with the support from Heaven. But a bomb plant means that HellRaisers in a much better spot moving forward, at least with their money. If we could pull up tab here and check what their cash looks like, we should be able to get a more accurate representation of how much they're going to have to work with.
Yeah, we'll see going into this next round exactly what they're looking for. It's going to be, well, very limited. They might go for a force up here just because they've got 9 rounds to play with. They might go for some upgraded pistols, maybe some body armor or something like that. But looks like they're just going to go ahead and play it safe because they've got all the rounds. They can just afford to go for the save here. And who knows? I mean, we saw the all-pistol, all-USP save round workout paid dividends for him earlier on. Or at least for Penta when they played on Cobblestone earlier. So we'll have to see whether or not they can make it happen here on the opposite side for HellRaisers. Close out the match on the back of an eco. Spots one out there. And Water not able to get it done, though. Tossin does take a deagle bullet, and he goes down immediately afterwards. So the fast trade, and that's going to favor the HellRaisers side, even though they are on the limited pistol buy. That's going to force the CTs to play a little bit more passive on these bomb sites, or maybe push to get information, one or the other. We'll see where it goes.
Oscar's like a shark with blood in the water right now. He can smell that M4 from all the way across the map. He's rotating in towards Water to try and grab it. He's finally going to get himself in that position, but there was a player on the opposite side jump peeking back in towards bathrooms. Quest 1 has made his way all the way up towards that A bomb site. But he's in a really good position right now where he can just play it slow. Meanwhile, Stiko does go down to Lowell. So 3 players left standing here for HellRaisers. They have that salvaged M4. The question is whether or not Oscar decides to just hold on to it. But look at this. They've just walked in towards this A site. Very passive play. Finally, Crystal's going to show himself. Does a lot of damage, but still struggling to finish off the frag here as this P250 is proving to be a bit of a nuisance towards this A site.
Yeah, and the longer that he can distract, the faster his teammates can rotate in towards this bomb site to try to actually get this bomb down. And this is a huge play right now. If he doesn't over-exert himself, if he doesn't over-peak this situation, all he needs to do is just distract long enough for these guys to be held back and bank held back onto the stairs. And this could be a victory here for the HellRaisers side. They're going to get an opportunity now to get into good post-plant positions. 3 players are all going to be squishing their way up towards the dumpster side, coming around towards CT spawn, while that one player is just holding in the corner. And there you go. They finally do manage to take him down. Aim punch is going to start off, but Oscar able to find one. They're going to chase him. But now it's all going to be down to just 0. He's popping a couple of shots out here, trying to stay alive, but Crystal finishes him off, and Penta lived to fight another day.
It continues.
It continues.
Yeah.
For the time being, for now.
This is very
Reminder,
familiar.
that was a full eco round, though.
Yeah, this reminds me of Cash, where HellRaisers got off to that strong start, and then it started to kind of creep back on them. They were unable to close things out for a little while, but I think it ended up being like, what, 16-8, 16-9, somewhere along that scoreline before they finally ended things. So now coming into this full buy round, Oscar with the AWP, duking it out against a double op on the opposite side. Surprise, surprise, though, it's not going to be Mike S picking it up. It's actually Crystal and Tossin, so switching things up with the op roll, and they're going to be putting one of those deep ball and long egg going for that aggressive peek towards Fountain.
Well, that's one of the things that we saw Oscar do earlier on, and it paid off big time for him on the HellRaisers side. So see what they come up with this time around. Boosting Crystal up on top of Sandbags. They're going to double boost on top of this. Interesting play.
I wonder, can Angel see him? I'm kind of curious if Angel and Water can actually see them boosted up on this box.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't even matter. Quest is going to be able to find both of those kills. It doesn't pay off for him. Not sure where that smoke ended up going. But nevertheless, we are going to see them push on in, and Angel takes down Taps, and this could be it, ladies and gentlemen. Mike S, though, comes back with 3 of his own. He's not done just yet. It's going to be down to Mike S and Tossin facing off against Zero and Oscar, an AWP and a rifle on both sides. We'll see whether or not HellRaisers can finish this off, or is Penta going to be able to come back from the brink of defeat once again to clutch out another round.
So the bomb is planted here. It's a 2-on-2. They're going to be coming in from both from lower CT, making their way in towards construction. Zero posted up on catwalk, but again, great shooting from Mike S, who's hunting down the ace here in a round that Penta cannot afford to lose. And there you go. He's going to get it. A huge round from Mike S and a tremendous swing of momentum there for Penta. That resurgence of energy and the fact that they're smiling right now is huge for them. You can't necessarily overhype that play enough if you're on Penta.
Well, that was one of the best. I mean, what a time to have an ace. I mean, he had 9 kills going into that round, ends up with 14, 7, and 17 going after that one is all said and done. But what a time to have an ace. You were down in a 2 versus 5, and you clean house over in that B bomb site with a Molotov and an M4A1. Beautiful stuff from Mike S. He keeps Penta alive in this tournament to fight another day. But the money bonus has started to ramp up now on the terrorist side of HellRaisers, and that bomb plan is also going to allow him to continue to buy. And now Mike is stuck between a rock and a hard place, and he's going to miss that shot. So the hero of the last round already done and dusted, and it's going to be a 4-on-5 situation. All AKs here for the terror side of HellRaisers as they get that man advantage early on with 1.5 minutes left.
This is that very nature of being in a scoreline that you're at right now. Penta feels like they have to play hyper-aggressive to try and force the fights with HellRaisers. They don't want the slow plays to develop, but it does put them at the advantage early on. Crystal eventually gets spotted in bathrooms, so we're back to even strength 3-on-3 right now. Tabson playing close up on long. They're not really necessarily going to expect a player to be here. If he peeks this wide enough, he might be able to spot the barrel of Oscar, who's waiting around the corner for a player to come up from the bank.
He might have even heard him scope, too, getting into that position. He's just waiting for somebody to jump peek from the backside of the APC, which we know isn't going to happen. There's the peek out, and he loses his life. So the recovery again from from Penta, where they lose the opening pick, they come back and get 3 for 1 at the end.
Something to think about, too. Even if Penta can take this to overtime and win it. Map number 3 is Cobble.
Yeah, and then it's a toss-up.
Yeah, so this still continues on. Like, you look at this and you're like, oh, Penta could still bring this back, force OT, win it, go to map 3. Ooh. That's the big problem. If that one tap was dead on, but obviously he was still moving, and there's always the spread factor.
That would have been absolutely filthy. In the meantime, though, Tabson does find Zero, takes him off the map, jump peeking from the backside of the bomb site, and be able to spot him out. And Angel goes down 15-9 now. So the comeback continues. Penta on the verge of bringing this one back. 6 rounds now, the difference. Intense.
Yeah, and HellRaisers' money is kind of in a weird spot, so I imagine...
They can afford to save here.
I would say this is a force. Pistol armor buy. Probably just barrel in somewhere, probably just rush B or rush connector and try to get control of connector. If you get that, then you can either go up the stairs and run towards mid, or you can funnel back down towards the B side. But it actually looks like they want to get control of Fountain, so they're just going to barrel on in towards the bathrooms, sending flashes and smokes. Crystal's going to sit inside his own smoke. Can he go for the Shinobi disappear here? Ninja Vanish peeking from the smoke, spots one, spots a second. Oh, he barely gets the kill before he escapes back into the smoke with his life. Meanwhile, his teammate Mike S does go down, and Crystal's dropped to 10 HP. So that's mid control for the T side, but they can't move anywhere because of the fact that Crystal is still waiting behind them.
I thought he was actually going to nade himself there. It took a weird bounce off the wall. Look out, though. Oscar finds the one dig onto Tabson, so we're still on a 3v2 as he loses his life to Tossin's AWP in the back of that A-bomb site. Only one rifle salvaged. They've still got to worry about Crystal back here, back Fountain. They can't spot him fast enough, and there you go. Double digits acquired for Penta. They were down, but they are not out just yet. Big round there from Crystal.
Twiston's just looking around like, where am I getting shot from here? I can't tell. Crystal gets aggressive in mid, smokes himself out, pushes into the smoke, gets two, then manages to retreat behind it with 10 HP, still survives long enough to get himself a third frag on the round. So yes, Mike S dies in exchange. But either way, Mike S and Crystal, that mid play from them, wins the round. Even though Mike S dies, he's basically the sacrificial lamb for the side of Penta. So now they're at 15 to 10. They've brought it back. They're getting so much closer, only 5 rounds away from overtime. This is very reminiscent for HellRaisers, who struggled to close out maps. They would get themselves in a good point, and they would just kind of fizzle. They'd get a little too confident after the first half, and you could definitely see that going their way early on, as that was a 14-1 first half score.
That was a triple boost to find that frag, and it pays off. They get the early pick. Nades come raining in as well. It does pretty good damage. Trying to boost up here from CT spawn, but they have no idea that Stiko has actually worked his way around the back lines. He might be able to get the backstab in. There's one down, not realizing that there's a player up top, but he does jump peek, but the boost comes in. Mike S is going to be able to trade that one, so there's still 3 players here from the CT side on this site. Tossin comes around from the stairs, gets the backstab on 0. Looks like we might have an 11th round here from Penta, unless something absolutely sensational happens from Oscar and Quest. But as of right now, there's the reboost.
Oh, nice shot from Oscar.
Flash comes out. Oh, Oscar finds another one. It's down to a 1 versus 1. Pardon me, a 1 versus 2. I almost counted Quest out because he's only got 1 HP, but it comes down to Tossin in a 1 versus 2. This is to save the match. This is to continue on, or is HellRaisers going to walk away with the championship right here, right now?
Oh, if he got the flashbang kill there, or a smoke kill on the player in pit, that would have been an impressive way to continue on.
I would have crapped.
But it doesn't happen. The smoke was just a little bit off the mark. And finally, HellRaisers close things out. They're going to take it 16-10, and that's a 2-0 in their favor. They are the ESEA EU Premier Grand Finalists. They are the winners. They're moving on to the Pro League, and they're taking that $10,000 check. Yes.
They feel good, man. Definitely feel good. You can see them obviously celebrating. No cheer, really, after it was all said and done, because they probably are actually kind of kicking themselves a little bit that it ended up being as close as it was. 16-10, a little bit weird. But then again, I mean, the first match, double overtime, we got our money's worth. We got what we wanted out of this tournament. It was nice. We had 2 different overtime matches. We had some very close matches. That cobblestone 16-13. As you can see, the good sportsmanship going on over there as they all shake hands. And at the end of the day, we're all going to get together and have a beer.
Yeah. I mean, the confusing thing for that whole best of 3 was map picks and bans.
Yeah.
We were confused as to how Overpass gets through. We were confused as to why Penta picked Inferno. And you could argue that Inferno pick isn't that bad because of the fact that they played as well as they did. They ended up succumbing to the defeat of HellRaisers, but even still, like, that pick was so questionable early on. Letting Overpass through is obviously what did them in.
Yeah, and you know, I'm going to continue to question that Inferno pick. Even though it did go into double overtime, I still don't think that was the strongest map pick that they could have gone with. They could have picked Cash because I don't think it went through in the bans early enough that it was an issue for them. Because Penta actually banned Dust 2, HellRaisers banned Train. They could have gone immediately into a Cash pick. They could have gone immediately into a Cobble pick right there, but they decided to go for Inferno, so they played like this wild card map, and even though it goes into double overtime, it doesn't end up panning out for them. 2-0 in favor of HellRaisers, and that's the tournament right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be the final. So we're going to just show you guys the brackets and how everything kind of unraveled over the course of the day, and there you go. 2-1 for HellRaisers over Mortal Kombat. They said that that was going to be their toughest competition here. They get it done. It does take 3 maps, but they do get it done. Then they 2-0 Penta for the grand finals. HellRaiser are your European ESEA Premier Champions.
Yeah, hats off to them. They played excellent. And again, we've talked about the maps enough times. It is just unfortunate for Penta, but they're going to be playing that relegation match against VP, so they still have an opportunity to make it into the Pro League, whereas HellRaisers moving right on up, a situation that most of these players are familiar with being in. But a huge thank you again to all of our production staff, the people downstairs making this happen, the admins, the teams as well, the players. Everyone's been pretty much awesome here.
People who brought food.
Yeah, those people as well, especially those people.
And thanks to you, my casting partner for the day. It's nice.
Yes.
And I'll see you
in a week.
Next week when we go to Burbank, California to do the North American Premier Division. So make sure you guys tune in for that one. And that's going to be it for us here over in Leicester.
Yes. Not Leicester.
Not Leicester. Leicester, England. Yes. I was saying that wrong the whole day yesterday. I got people ripping me a new one on Twitter. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate everybody who stuck around. I know that DreamHack's going on as well. So thank you for your attention and your viewership. You guys have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you're from. That's going to be it for us. Mega Man and Bach signing off.
Lowell's going to come up for Monster Canal, gets one, but Angel making quick work of the 2 players.
Oh, that nade flounders. That would have been such a high damage nade, but it's okay. The UMP's going to tear on through him. There you go. Getting that round.
Stigo now pushing up towards the...
He's going to find that opening pick. And Angel, 2 more on a short. Oh my God, he gets the spin around on a Mike S. Finally goes down. Angel is going to go down, but here you go.
It's just so comical. Perfectly for both these players. They just need to time it right. But actually, he gets leg, takes the shot. Now he can flush out that other AWPer. Oh, no.
Control completely in HellRaiser's hands. Tossin does start things off. Good return grenade, and Tabson going to tap away and find...
It's like the bomb physics on this map really can be frustrating sometimes.
Oh, that nade's going to hurt. So does the Molotov. Lots of damage going out early. Tabson, he's pissed.
He cut off the border. You can have this part.
Aggression is the name of the game, but it does not work. Stigo.
Yeah, great shooting from Mike S, who's hunting down the ace here in a round that Penta cannot afford to lose. There you go. He's going to get it. A huge round from Shinobi disappear here. Ninja Vanish peeking from the smoke. Spots one, spots a second. Oh, he barely gets the kill.
But as of right now, there's the reboost.
Oh, nice shot from Oscar.
Flash comes out. Oh, Oscar finds another one. It's down to a 1 versus